Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dmac and today we're going to look at picking this bad boy. So this is an Ingersoll, it says on the key there, Ingersoll 6-lever padlock. Lovely vintage looking key there. And you've got 3 levers at the top and 3 at the bottom. Kind of looks like a wafer lock, but it's not. I think traditionally when you think about a lever padlock, you'd think about something like this, Squire 440. But this is a different beast. It does kind of pick like a pin tumbler, more like a pin tumbler, but we got, yeah, like I say, 3 levers at the top, 3 levers at the bottom, and that should get us the open. Now this one here, there's a little pin goes in just there. I think I've got it there. It's just there, which locks the shackle in place. It's quite difficult to get out and involves a lot of banging, so I've kind of freed that up so that, yeah, so that pin that goes in that hole there through the lock body just there, and that stops the shackle coming out. So I sprayed a load of WD-40 in there and freed that up to save you watching me just banging the hell out of it. So let's try and get this picked, and if we do we can open him up and I can show you the mechanism, because it's a really nice one actually. So let's pop him in the vise, get ourselves comfy, make sure he's working. That's kind of better, I think. I'm just trying not to blind you. I've got the reflection through the window next to me. That's pretty good. And I'm going to use, I know some people use you know, a couple of wiper inserts, but I'm going to just use this here, top of the keyway, and that should give us enough movement. And I'm going to use this short hook to try and get in there. That seems to work well. Let me just adjust the light a little bit here, pull the curtain across a bit. There we go, that's a bit better. And I can tilt this up so you can hopefully see better what's going on. There we go, that's nice. Okay, so these take quite heavy tension. I did pick this one when I first got it, so hopefully we should be able to pick it again. I always pick pins up when I'm picking pin tumblers, always in that position, so it's kind of unnatural to flip the pick over and pick down, but since there's only 3 levers at the bottom, 3 levers at the top, this isn't so bad. Let's see what we've got. I've got some quite heavy tension on this. Just feeling for a binding lever. Nothing there. Let's go back up to the top. I'm just going to grab the key, wherever that is. Just feels a bit stiff in there. Just going to make sure. I know that sometimes these levers get jammed, so see if that's any better. Make sure they're all released then. It takes a bit of practice to actually get a feel for what you're feeling for. Oh, there was a click on the 3rd one at the top. I think they're quite easy to overset as well, these levers. That was a click on the 2nd lever along at the bottom. There's a click on the 2nd lever at the top and a small click on the 3rd lever at the top. I felt a little bit of movement and a tension wrench there. Number 1 feels like it's binding down there. And that was 2 at the top, and we got him open. Fantastic. That was nice and quick. I've got a couple of these Ingersoll padlocks, This one is the, like I don't know if I said, this is the baby of the bunch because he's the 6 lever. Let's try and get this key in there. Just wanted to, there we go, just wanted to make sure he was locked up. I think he's locked now. There we go. Just want to make sure he's locked up because you can actually, which I found out, you can actually brick these locks. I picked it when I first got it. I over rotated the core and the core kind of stuck in, it's kind of in that orientation at the moment, but it got stuck in that orientation, which meant that I didn't have access to the top and bottom of the keyway, and I actually had to grind off just a little bit of this shielding in order to get a pick in there to free it up again. So I'll be interested to open this up and see how that actually occurred. But yeah, like I was saying, this one is the baby of the bunch. You've got the other versions that I've got are the 10 lever versions. I think we've got screws in there. Yeah, they're the 10 lever versions, and I think this one doesn't have false gates, and the 10 lever version does have the false gates. I think I've got to open this. The key is really stiff to get in there. There we go. Yeah, opening it, you've got 2 ball bearings there, and it just means that those ball bearings go inside so the screwdriver can get in, hopefully. Not sure if that one's long enough to get down there, you know. I'll do it like that. Yeah, it's difficult to reach down there. I think I've loosened it now. There we go, 1 screw. And we've got the mechanism coming out now. Just going to lock him back up. Okay, we've got the 2 screws coming out, and that plate should come off now. A lot of crap in there. Obviously had a hard life, this one. We should be able to, if I can get the key in. There we go. Take this core out, and now you just see rattling around in there is a couple of ball bearings, and that's what keeps the shackle closed with those 2 cutouts just there. So yeah, that is the mechanism in there, which is absolutely filthy. I will probably give this a bit of a clean up. Yeah, so the way it works anyway, you've got, this is a sidebar which locates, I think it's into there. There's like a sort of recess, just see it there, recess in the lock body that sidebar sits in. So ordinarily in the locked position, that sidebar is sort of sits proud. You can just see it just there, and it's being blocked by these levers down there. And if I push the key in, you can see all those levers kind of moving about. And when the key goes fully in, all the gates on the levers line up, and there's a clear channel. There we go, it's a bit stiff for that sidebar to retract. So that's it retracted, and once it's retracted, that core is able to turn, and then the 2 ball bearings, which are locked in that position, as it turns, they kind of fall into those recesses there, and then the shackle can come out. So you might be able to see the levers better from that side. Oh, you could. I think that's the side that they're sprung on. You can't see much movement there. But yeah, I don't think we've got any false gates on there. I can't see any. You can see the true gates, they're all lined up now. And then the sidebar would go into that, there we go. But I don't think, yeah, there's no false gates in there. I think the 10 lever version, which is, there we go, that's the 10 lever version. It's about the same size. But yeah, you've got the 10 levers on it. I think this does have the false gates on it, so it can be a lot more tricky to pick. But yeah, there we go. We got that one open. It wasn't too hard, and that's probably because of that bit. Partly because there's less levers in this one, but also there's no false gates. But yeah, still a really interesting mechanism. That's one of the great things about lock sports, you know, just seeing how things work. And yeah, great mechanism, that one. Nice padlock to have in the collection, but definitely needs a bit of a clean. I don't think this one is ever going to be back in use, or not for a long time anyway, because it's going to be in my collection. But there you go, that's the 6-lever Ingersoll, picked and partially gutted. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Just a little bonus on this Ingersoll 6-lever. I mentioned after I picked it that I managed to, sorry, blinding you there, I managed to brick the lock, and just to show you this shield that's on there, it did look the same. You can see these corners are nice and crisp, and these ones are kind of sort of chamfered, and you can see there a couple of marks, and that's where I had to use like a Dremel disc to cut those little corner bits off, so I could pick this out of the bricked position. But I was just curious as to how I managed to do that. If we look in there, you've got that recess there, and that recess is for the sidebar, which when the key's not in, sticks out and locks it into this position. When you've got the key in there, you can only rotate this 90 degrees, because you're stopped, the key sort of goes in there, and then you rotate 90 degrees and the key's blocked by those little 2 protrusions, you see. But what I think happened is that I picked it, and when you've picked it, you know, that sidebar is pressed in, all the levers are lined up, and I was able to freely rotate it. Now, you know, because you're not using a key, you're not restricted to that 90-degree turn. So I think I rotated it, and the position that it's stuck in, that's the normal position there. The position it got stuck in was like that, and that meant that I couldn't get in to pick it without grinding these corner pieces off. So just looking at this lock to see what it actually got stuck on. So that's, sorry, that's it, with the sidebar lined up there with a groove, and the position it was stuck in was that, kind of diagonal, but I don't think it was that, because there's nothing there for the sidebar to get stuck on. But I think what I'd done is I'd picked it and rotated it to that angle, kind of like that, and then the sidebar was able to pop out into this groove just here, and that meant that the sidebar was then locked into that position just like that, and I had, there we go, and you got that guard on just there, and it had become locked in that position. I couldn't free it because I couldn't get the key in, because it was being blocked by these this sort of shielding, and initially couldn't pick it because yeah, that shielding was more like this one here, like quite sharp. And yeah, so I had to grind it away. I thought I'd completely destroyed it actually, but I think it's just interesting just to see, you know, that's what happened, and perhaps just a word of warning when you pick your Ingersoll, just to be careful not to over rotate it, because otherwise you could end up bricking it like I did. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.